Now, keep your texts and your comments coming in. Hi, Damien. Paddy helped my father over a year ago in Tala Hospital. We hold him in very high regards and want to wish him the very best of luck in the future. Any advice from Paddy on any young person deciding to get into politics? Sorry about that. He's gone after that. Damien, Paddy Coffey is in cuckoo land if he thought he was going to get elected. He's painting a picture here which is not in keeping with reality, says this person. Other people texting in about Fine Gael and saying he's done great work, and other people saying that Fine Gael have a lot of lessons still to learn. Paul in the city says Paddy Coffey is one of the true gentlemen in local and national politics. Sorry to see him retiring. He says it's when gombeans surface on social media with gutter comments, you have to wonder, is it worth it all? Wishing Paddy the very best in the future. And other people texting also about that. In a minute, we're going to be talking to Gerard Grant about his search for the missing Meccano set. And we're going to be talking to Ross Cahill, security manager, regarding if you're barred from one pub in a town or a city, should you be barred from them all? And Luke Cahill from Kilbarra Sports Centre is coming in with Pat and Jim on Operation Transformation starting in January. Is that the thing you want to hear about just before Christmas? Well, it'll help you. Some little bits of advice about what to do in the run-up to Christmas. Firstly, we're going to talk about boilers. And I'm going to talk to Mary, who's not a real name. Mary, good morning.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Tell us about your own situation in general and the boiler, as they say.
Well, we're not too sure if it is the boiler, to be honest about it. I just rang the council last Tuesday to say that the heating had gone, last Tuesday the 10th. And from there, the lady took the information and logged the complaint. Now, they said there is no man to come out, or woman, to come out and say, if it is the boiler, is it the heating, is it something I'm doing wrong or anything like that. What happens is it goes on a file to go onto a pricing list, and then it's contracted out. So it could be 8 to 12 weeks before that job is completed.
Wow, 8 to 12 weeks. So you were told basically you may have to wait up to 3 months?
Yeah, and that's standard. So I was told.
My goodness. How are you going to survive, or what are you doing?
Well, we have the sitting room fire. It's not a back boiler, but it is a fire. And then we're after getting a loan of a few dimplexes. So we're moving them around as necessary.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sure there's worse people in other situations.
I know, yeah, but like it's Christmas time. You're going to be cold for Christmas.
I hope not.
And were you surprised, because other people have said the same as well, that there is a waiting list? Were you surprised that it's that long?
Well, we've never had to call for a repair or anything like that in the 10 years we've been renting.
Yeah.
We've always kind of managed ourselves, but when it came to the gas or anything like that, we weren't comfortable going about it ourselves, and it was just as well, because apparently the house wouldn't be insured by the council if we got somebody, even from Bord Gáis, to come and have a look at it.
Oh, because that's what some people would say. They'll say, well, why can't you get it fixed yourself? But that's not possible. No,
we did offer, and there is no reimbursement or anything like that. And even if we did get it done, there is the issue of the insurance.
Okay, so even if it was a proper boiler person, it may not be possible. It wouldn't be possible to do it. Is that what you've been told, yeah?
That's what we've been told, yeah. Well, we can go about it, absolutely, we can go about it. But then if anything happened in the house, that may be possible that it would be the fault of the house or something in the house that's the responsibility of the council, they're no longer obliged to come and repair that.
Yes.
Because we've altered or done something to the system,
yes.
The heating system.
Yeah, so that means that if... so the council have to effectively put it out to tender, I suppose.
That's right, yeah. I didn't understand the pricing list, what that meant. So it actually means that it has to go out to a contract. But what I didn't understand was there's nobody to come out and see, did I have that right? Is it actually the boiler, or is it something else in around the tank or something like that? It's just going off what I said. Do you understand what I mean? There's no come out and say, even a handyman, even to come out and say, oh, look, okay, it is the boiler, or look, the heater has to be, the whole system has to be bled, or anything like that. There's nobody to come out and see.
Yeah. And in the meantime, is there any chance of getting somebody out to have a look at it, maybe even just to see? Maybe.
We weren't really sure how to go about it without kind of, getting into trouble.
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from exactly, and that's what other people have said the same, yeah. Stay warm for Christmas. The idea of moving Dimplex heaters around from room to room and putting on extra layers of clothing, it's a bit much, isn't it?
Well, I suppose, it's the situation we're in now, isn't it, I think?
It is, yeah. Listen, Mary, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see what the council have to say about this, and if we get back to us, if anybody has having similar problems, please let us know. 083 333 975. Now, in a second, I am going to be going to Gerard. Firstly, a quick mention for our Christmas appeal. You can donate online, christmasappeal.ie. You can drop a cheque, into WLR Christmas Appeal or cash. Give you a receipt for that and make sure everything goes to the St Vincent de Paul, or you can text appeal to 50300. Text appeal to 50300. Donate €4 and St Vincent de Paul will get a minimum of 360 from that. Lovely, lovely prizes to be won. Family pass for the Waterford Panto Robin Hood, family weekend pass for Kaleidoscope, Russborough House, Westlife pair of tickets, and the draw will take place live on WLR on the 23rd of December. Jenny has texted in, Damien, a very good wide-ranging interview, an honest interview with Paddy this morning, compulsive listening. Now we're going to go straight to Gerard. Good morning, Gerard.
Morning, Damien. How are you doing, boy?
I'm wonderful, thanks. I'm wonderful. Are you in Carrick this morning, or where are you?
I'm not. We're building a few houses there in Piltown, in County Kilkenny, unfortunately.
That's okay. That's all right.
That's okay.
That's all right. Piltown are nice. Nice people in Piltown, South Kilkenny. Good,
absolutely.
Good, honest people, yeah. Well, I won't delay you too long. I'd say your hands are getting a bit cold up there, are you?
Oh, you're grand. Talk away there. You're grand.
Listen, you rang us, you texted us there, and we're just getting to you this morning, and it's an interesting story. You had a Meccano set which you lent to Winterville years back. Tell us about this Meccano set.
Well, when Winterville, on the onset of that, a shout went out from man that you're filling his seat now rather brilliantly, I might say. The shout went out from Billy to say that they wanted old toys, they wanted to create an exhibition to create a bit of a buzz around this Winterville thing. So grand. So the shout went out anyway. I had a guy came to the door from, I think at the time it was Hasbro Games, took a look at the game and said, oh God, brilliant. It's in mint condition, lovely, perfect. My sons had played with it for a while before the onset of electronics, etc., etc. But anyway, he took the game, took my name, took my number. He said, yeah, we'll part the exhibition. He said, we'll take a loan, we'll get back to you whenever the thing ends and all that. But that was then So
that must be, sorry, Gerard, yeah, and we're talking to Gerard Grant, who's from Carrick originally, and as you say, working in Piltown on the house this morning. That must have been at least then 3 or 4 years ago that this happened. Could it be longer?
Longer. Well, it was the very first year of Winterville. I was trying to find out whatever year that was.
Okay.
To find out. But I sort of innocently assumed that the exhibition was an ongoing thing. And year and a half ago, or 2 years ago, I went down and the exhibition was finished. And I said to myself, said to the wife, I said, Jesus, I wonder what happened to the games that they were supposed to come back to us. And then I started the search, and I emailed Winterville, and I got a sort of the past answer. Oh, we're very sorry, and this and that. We'll try and look into it. And that was in January, and I've heard nothing from them since. Nothing since.
Okay, so we're putting the call out this morning. Anybody involved in the first or second Winterville? Because I know the committees change, Gerard, as things go on. Yeah,
indeed.
And anybody involved, maybe, for example, somebody in Hasbro, or as it's now called, Cartamundi, they might have.
Yeah.
Because
it's a little bit slack in my view, like that they take on such a, like in most people's instances, it was a sort of a treasured heirloom that they had in attic wherever to be, like, and like, I'm not too sure did anyone else get their toys back or no one got back, but it's a little bit slack of responsibility that they didn't ensure that they went back to their respective owners, you know, kind of way.
Yeah, no, I think it is, yeah, and like, I remember the display of old toys in the first and second Winterville exhibition. I think, as you say, they've stopped that now. So anybody out there that knows where this Meccano set might have gone to...
I'd love to get it back.
Yeah, no, Gerard would love to get it back. And it is yours, as you say, and it's not worth an awful lot of money, but at the same time it has sentimental value, and obviously it's yours, like. You gave it to them on a lend. And you
I was minding that, like, with more than 50 years, like, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it would be worth a few bob in that respect.
Yeah, well, I'm 63 now, and if I can take back, my mother got it for me. I got love when she was maybe when I was 9, 10, maybe that kind of age. So it's at least 50, 55, 53 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Gerard, listen, we'll let you get back to your work. Mind yourself on that house there.
Can I bother your time just for 20 seconds? I want to send a shout out to my wife, if you don't mind.
Do, yeah. What's her name?
We're Elizabeth. Everyone calls her Betty. But anyway, we were 45 years together in June. We're 40 years married in 2 weeks' time, and she's the most wonderful, wonderful human being that God ever put breath of life in.
That is just...
That's what I'm saying. Myself and our boys, we love her to death. She's a sister. She's a sister-in-law. She's a wife. She's a mother. She's an agony aunt. She's a taxi driver. She's a tart maker. She's a bread maker to anyone that needs her or goes. Like I said, anyone that knows her, either friend or family, knows she's the most wonderful, wonderful human being that ever got her better life. And I'm lucky enough to say that she's my wife. Thank God.
Jared, I'm working on this show nearly a year, and that's the nicest request I've heard so far. That is just lovely. Fair play to you.
Thank you. Yeah, she's the most extraordinary woman. She have a heart bigger than her body, and like she never says no. And the amount of times the phone is lifted for Betty, can you come and have a coffee and a chat? She has a lost calling in being a psychotherapist or a psychoanalyst or someone. She have an ear as big as a JCB. She just listens and listens and listens and listens. And I cannot. She's the most wonderful human being that ever God put breath of life in. And thanks for your time for allowing me to say it on air.
Well, Jared, to you and herself and to all your family, God bless and happy Christmas.
Much appreciated, David. Thanks very much. God bless you. Great show. God bless.
Thank you very much. And we will be back with more regarding that as things develop in terms of if we have any of details regarding the Meccano set. Let us know, please. Firstly, I'm going to go straight to a lady on the line. Jennifer, is it?
It is, yeah.
Jennifer, good morning. Thanks very much for ringing in. You're still there, yeah?
I am.
You heard the lady talking about the boiler. Tell us about your own situation.
My boiler broke in June of this year, and I'm still waiting for it to be fixed. So we have no heating in the house. Both myself and my husband are totally blind, and I have an autoimmune disease. And I have a gauge on my phone that measures the temperature of each room, and at the moment the sitting room is 7 degrees and the hall is 8.
Oh my God! So, where are you living, Jennifer?
Larchville. Yeah, I'm a tenant 23 years with the council, and the heating broke in June. Somebody came out in August and looked at it and scratched his head, and off he went about his business and never came back. And then in October, my shower broke. We had the Velux windows in the extension was leaking, and it went down onto the electric shower, and it just broke. It blew up, and that was broken October. So we're still waiting for both of them to be fixed.
And have you had anybody else in to look at it? Is there any friends No. Is there any friends?
No.
Like, is there anything you can do at all?
No, you can't touch it because it's not my property.
And this is what Mary said just a while ago, that even if you did get somebody in to fix it. Now, a woman who rents from the council in Dungarvan paid out €200 out of her own pocket to get the boiler fixed. Otherwise, she'd have to wait 3 months. So there might be issues there, as you say, regarding getting it done. But, like, how are you surviving with no boiler?
Not very well, actually. Like, I'm going to bed in fluffy pyjamas, and I have a duvet, I have a throw, I have another throw on the bed. I'm going around in the house with fleeces on me. We're using 2 to 3 bags of coal a week just to keep the stove in the sitting room. But the minute you come out my sitting room door into the hall, it's like walking out in the street. It's absolutely freezing. Like, I'm sitting in the sitting room now at the moment, in the front sitting room, and I'm actually shaking with the cold.
Oh, that's
and
not right.
I'm on blood thinners as well, which would make you extra cold. So my hands are actually freezing, and as I'm sitting here now, I can feel the draft coming in under the doors. It's actually hitting my legs, and I'm actually freezing.
And can you see your own breath in the house sometimes?
I'm blind, so I don't know.
Have you no sight at all? None whatsoever?
No, I have nothing. No, I'm completely black.
Oh my goodness.
And my husband is visually impaired as well.
Oh my goodness.
Like, what bothered me as well, Damien, was I wanted to buy this house and the council wouldn't sell it to us because we were on a blind pension. So I could have done the repairs myself. Do you know what I mean? So where do you go from there? They won't sell it to us and they won't fix anything. So you're just left in limbo.
Well, where do you go exactly? Now, Jim Griffin has just texted in or rang in to say the issue was raised at the Metropolitan Council meeting last night by 3 councillors. They understand a local councillor has been awarded a contract to fix around boilers in around 30 houses, beginning with immediate effect. But another lady has just texted in to say, my daughter's boiler is not working since last week. She's been calling the council. They say they don't have an RGI contractor to call out. They say it'll be in the new year. She has 2 children, no heating, only electric for hot water. What a joke.
I have no hot water, Tim. My heating works my hot water. You have to turn on my heating to heat the water, so I've no hot water either.
And how are you? How are you washing?
It's all been explained. I'm going over to my mother's across the road. My mother lives in 51 and I'm in 60, and I go over to her with my stuff and have a shower in my mother's.
In this day and age, to think that
Yep.
you have, you're blind, a blind couple living in a council house, and the boiler hasn't been... And a man came out and he scratched his head.
Yeah, he came out and looked at it and said, right, I'll be back to you. That was in August.
And did he say anything else, or did you get back to the council to say what happened?
I did, yeah.
And what did they say?
They're just saying, we'll put you as priority. Every time my mother or myself ring, they just keep telling us, we'll put you priority. But I'm still waiting.
That is madness.
Yeah, like my husband is away, he's a cyclist all last week. And do you know, when there's kind of not much activity in the house, it was just so cold. The house was actually freezing. Because normally when I'd get up, he'd already have the fire lighting, and obviously when I was getting up then there was no fire lighting. Take me a while then to get the fire light, and then you want to heat, kind of try to heat the sitting room. So even if you're going to the bathroom in the night times, like you've pyjamas on you, and it's only a couple of steps away. You're putting on socks, you're putting on slippers, you're putting on a dressing gown, just go to the bathroom.
And what about, a lady texted in, anyone that pays money from their own pocket and the council should be sorting it out. Bill the council, get a solicitor to do it. I did the same, Damien. The council ignored me for 8 months and I had to contact my solicitor, says this lady. That's not right either, is it, to have to ring a solicitor about this?
No, you're paying your rent. If you're in a private rented accommodation, the landlord has to fix your equipment. Do you know what I mean? Like, I pay my rent.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had any trouble, you know what I mean? I'm a good resident.
A good tenant, yeah. And your husband, as you say, he does. I presume he's out. He's visually impaired, so he's out with others on the cycling thing. He's tandem or whatever.
He's a paracyclist.
Yeah, paracyclist.
So, he's been training for Tokyo Olympics. He's away a lot, so I'm here on my own.
What's his name?
Damien Verriker.
Damien, I know Damien. That's your husband.
Yeah.
Listen, Jennifer, I'm really sorry to hear this. This is terrible. We'll get on to the council straight away and see what they have to say about it. We're trying to get a response on the thing, and I don't know what to say.
No, and they'll just tell you, we can't comment on individual cases.
Well, I'll tell you, lads, if there's anybody out there, I don't know, but if there's any boiler men out there that want to give us a call and maybe call to this lady's house and see if there's anything you can do before Christmas, because any time of the year, but that's not right.
No, you wouldn't believe how cold it is sitting here. But my husband's in the other room where the fire is with the radio on, so I had to come into this room, and my toes now are actually starting to freeze. So, I don't know.
Jennifer, say hello to Damien for me. We'll get back to you, OK? We'll follow this up. I promise you that.
Thanks a million, Damien.
See you later.
Thank you.
God bless.
Care. Bye.
Bye. Let us know what you have to say about that. That's just not on. Laura has texted in about Gerard's request earlier on for his lovely wife. What a request from that man too, is absolutely beautiful. That's one of the best requests ever. Another person texting in about their boiler. Damien, that's the loveliest request I've ever heard. That is in from Catherine. Let us know. Keep in touch. 083 3333 975. Now, we've been so busy, we haven't even had time for the competition, but we'll do it now. So 12 Days of Christmas, courtesy of Mulligan's Pharmacy. Perfect Christmas gift from Mulligan's as your prize this morning. All you have to do is text in Mulligan's Christmas Cracker to 083 3333 975, or you can call 051 846 123, and Audrey is waiting for your call. Mulligan's have lots on offer at Christmas. They have their Blue Club, they have mulliganspharmacy.com, they've Hugo Boss, Chanel, Clarence, Pestle Mortar, everything you want there, so get in touch. Now, other people texting in. My God, Damien, those people without heating, what kind of situation is that? The council should sort out something. Damien, my boiler hasn't been serviced in 2.5 years. Damien, the council have RG2 plumbers or RGII plumbers and have played for plumbers over the years. I'm a self-employed plumber. They've told me they work for the council. They also told me they do maintenance on the bridge and that there is a lot of work to be done. it's important. They're afraid. I'll come back to that. Damien, I also rent a house off the council. I got my son to fix the boiler. I'm not going to inform the council, says this texter. That's another way that people are doing it, but again, that's a difficult situation because as we've heard, that they have to have recognised people to do it. But if you've got no heating and if you've got no hot water for months, that's just madness. In a second, I'm going to be talking to Ross Cahill. Damien, I'm listening to your show about the gas boiler service. A lady now has phoned in to say she's been waiting since June. I myself have been waiting since the 1st of August. 4 months now. I've been phoning every week regularly. The council told me they're inundated with boilers having broken down. As the dogs in the street know, get them serviced before they break down. There's an ad on RT about getting your boiler serviced every year. My boiler was serviced in July last year, so that's around 18 months. And that is in from Pat. We're looking for a response from the council on this. Damien, why don't the council have a list of approved suppliers for Bord Gáis to fix the boilers if that lady wanted to pay herself? Not the point, really, as any landlord should stand over their heating. But at least they'd get her and her family out of a hole. Very, very good point, listener. We'll come back to that with more of your texts and comments. Firstly, I'm going to go straight to Ross. Good morning, Ross.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you, Ross. Thanks for joining us this morning. You're security manager with the Causeway Group. You run security at the factory, at Sinnett's, at Mason's in Waterford City. Is that right?
That's correct. And the Woodman and our new bar, the Lounge, as well.
Oh, the Lounge, yeah. How's that going for you? Good?
Yeah, we had a fantastic opening weekend. It was nice and busy and a beautiful crowd in.
Good. Now, there's a new initiative, and Darren has the story on the News and Star. I think it's in the Munster as well. And it says about launching in the city centre, barring from one, barring from all. It aims to achieve a safe, secure and responsibly led drinking environment in Waterford City. So tell us about this initiative, please.
Basically, the initiative came about through the work of the Purple Flag initiative in their working group. Basically, we had the right people in the right room and we started to discuss and open up lines of communication with one another. And we realised that a cornerstone for the Purple Flag is safety, and if we could raise the bar a little bit by working together, it would be beneficial for all the licensed premises in Waterford.
Okay.
The scheme came about basically through that. And then we decided we'd take it a little bit further and have a look into it and investigate if there was other schemes available. We seen that there was nothing really in Ireland, but I suppose the closest thing to what we're looking at is like the pub watch scheme that they have in the UK. But we've implemented it and we've catered it to Waterford.
Okay. So what does it mean? Is it legal that if one person is barred from one pub or premises that they're not allowed into another one?
Every premise has the common law right of refusal. And so what we're doing is we're taking that potentially a little bit step further by sharing information about known troublemakers that we're having issues with, and we're keeping them out of our venues as a collective.
And as you say, it's only a minority. The figures that you are quoting is that around 2% of people misbehave and cause issues. So it's not... Yeah, go on.
I would argue it's even smaller than that, Damien. And by all means, if there was a list, if there was a barred list, we would envision that it would be a very small list. Waterford is extremely safe at the moment, in my opinion. This scheme hasn't been brought in to tackle a specific problem. It's probably been brought in now to fight a perception and to raise the bar and the standards that we're working at.
Okay, so if I went out this weekend and a bouncer doesn't like me, or I say something to a bouncer and get barred in one place, does the bouncer get straight onto the other doormen and women in the different premises and says, Damien Tiernan's not, he's not in a good state? No?
This scheme is not a stick to beat anybody with. This scheme is to, as I say, raise the standard of what we're offering our customers, and so that they're not impacted by that 2%. So, first of all, to get onto the barred list, there's no single person that can just put you on there. There is a committee and there is a voting process, and there has to be justification. As I say, if you go out Saturday and you have one too many, because it is Christmas as well, and you're escorted from a premises in Waterford and you go off and you get chips and a taxi home, you have no fear about being put on this list. This list is targeting the troublemakers that we seem to be dealing with on a regular basis.
Okay.
And by dealing with them and refusing them access to our venues in Waterford, the hope is that we make Waterford a nicer and more desirable place and a safer place.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the sentiments in this. I'm looking to see how it works in practice, Ross. So how does one get on this naughty list? So, for example, somebody is inebriated at 1 o'clock in the morning and acts the Egypt or is causing trouble or whatever, is having emotional problems and is barred from one place. You say a committee then will decide if he or she is not going to be put on this naughty list. So when does that committee meet? The next day? Do they bring the person in for an interview or what?
No, the person won't be brought in for an interview. What will happen is the circumstances regarding that person and the incident that they're involved with, that will be brought to the committee, and we'll have regular meetings which will give the opportunity to give the representation from every venue to talk at the meetings, and any issues that they've had with a person, it'll be mapped out what took place. And like in the room is all licensees, people that work in security. I'd argue that there's wealth of knowledge for hundreds of years regarding the nighttime sector. And so we know what we're talking about. We know what issues that we're having. We know what's acceptable and we know what's not acceptable. And so if something is brought to us and we deem it unacceptable, we will have a vote as to whether that person is allowed into our venues as a collective or not. And again, we're not looking to keep people out of our venues. Quite the opposite.
No, I understand. Yeah, I understand that. And again, I asked you, one of the first questions I asked you, like, you're 100% sure that this is legal, is it?
Well, I've been in Waterford for coming on to nearly 20 years, and I'd say I've refused hundreds of people, and I don't think I've ever done it illegally before.
No, I know you're completely within your rights to bar somebody from a premises on a night, but the idea of putting somebody on a list for 6 months, or is there a duration on this list? How long somebody's going to be on it?
What we're doing is sharing information. We're communicating as licensed premises better with one another.
Yeah.
So that we can tackle the issues that we're having. And unfortunately, a lot of the issues that we're having stem from people. And by not having those people in any of our venues, we're able to appropriately tackle the issues.
Yeah, but
that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, I know. Again, I'm not playing killjoy here on it. Don't get me wrong, Ross. I'm just trying to get to the nub of this because, like I say, somebody gets onto the list. How long are they going to be on this list for? Because if somebody has a misdemeanour on one night and then changes their attitude or apologises, like, will they be taken off the list again?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a case-by-case thing. There's no right or wrong here. You know, everyone's an individual and everyone is entitled to get in contact with us. We have a Facebook page set up. If anyone queried why they were on the list or they wanted to put their point across, we would always be open to conversation with them and to taking on board what they're saying happened. But as I said, the list is going to be a very small percentage of people that are known to be troublemakers, that are known to cause us issues, that are known to negatively impact Waterford City when it's the night time.
And again, one last final question. Have you taken legal advice on this? You're happy that this is legally watertight?
Well, we are still in the process of working together as a committee, and I'm sure that we're going to have hurdles as we go along. We are going to seek legal representation if the need should arise. But again, at the moment, as a licensed premise, we have the right of refusal and we're sharing information to make sure that we're tackling the antisocial behaviour in Waterford, making Waterford a safer place to be.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there on that, and it is a lovely place to go out in Waterford City and Dungarvan, and like no problems in as you say, with 99% of people. But maybe you should take legal advice before somebody decides to query it, because just that you're barred in one place, does that mean you're barred in another? I don't know. Maybe you're 100% right on this. I just don't know.
The acts that you're looking at someone being barred for are, they're verging on criminal behaviour. We're not going to bar someone who's had one too many. Please come into Waterford, have one too many. We will look after you. We will cater to you. We'll make sure you get home safely. We're on about people that are committing criminal damage, people that are selling or misusing drugs, people that are involved in disorder and violent behaviour.
Well, that's a matter then that's a matter for the courts, Ross. Like once that then goes to courts, effectively a private committee is going to be set up, which effectively could blacken somebody's name. They could say they could blacken somebody's name.
It is a matter for the courts, and we do understand that. And again, this isn't a stick to beat anybody with.
Yeah.
But we are just trying to protect our premises, our staff and our clientele from people's negative behaviour.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Listen, good luck with it, and might talk in January and see how you got on over Christmas, if that's okay.
That would be wonderful. I'm sure we'll have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, and happy Christmas to you and everybody, and a safe and happy Christmas to everybody involved, and anybody going out in Waterford this weekend or in Dungarvan or any place around the southeast. Ross Cahill, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, Ross.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Ross Cahill there, security manager with the Causeway Group. Let us know what you think. You don't want to be on this naughty list. Now, Patricia McCarthy, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
Are you happy we made a call to you?
I am so delighted. I am really, really, really happy. Oh, so wonderful.
You're very welcome. Listen, it's lovely to spread the joy around Christmas. You're living, where are you? Coolnagour, is it?
Hello?
Yeah.
Coolnagour,
yeah, in Dungarvan, is it?
County Waterford, yeah.
Lovely. Well, listen, thanks very much. You entered our Mulligan's Christmas Cracker competition and you are the winner this morning, our 12 Days of Christmas. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. What a lovely surprise.
Yeah, it's nice to get something. So, depending what you're going to get now, I want you to call out a number. I'll just check our numbers here. We're down to number 1, 5, 6 and 11.
11.
11, OK. I'll go onto the computer here, pull in our Christmas cracker. OK, there's our little crack. And behind it on the screen is hair products. So a lovely set of what's called Frankman hair range, 4 products altogether, and that is courtesy of Mulligan's Pharmacy. I don't know the value of it, Patricia, but I'd say they're worth a few bob. Will that be okay for you?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And what we'll do is we'll get Audrey to give you a shout and talk to you about where to pick them up. I don't know if you can pick them up down in Dungarvan or we can sort out how to get them to you. Is that okay?
Oh, I'll make sure I can get it. You can get it to me.
No problem. And listen, do you want to say a little request or a happy Christmas to somebody?
A happy Christmas to all my friends there in Dungarvan and Aglish and anybody, and Cappoquin, my sister-in-law Anne McCarthy in Cappoquin, and anybody who knows me.
Lovely. I know you'll be kicking yourself afterwards now. You're saying, I should have said thanks there. But to anybody who knows you. And listen, Patricia, to you and all your family, happy Christmas to you and yours.
And many happy returns, Damien. And thank you very much for ringing me.
You're very, very welcome. Patricia, happy Christmas.
Thank you. Happy Christmas. Bye.
Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Patricia McCarthy there from Dungarvan, winner of our 12 Days of Christmas hair products from Frankman, courtesy of Mulligan's Pharmacy. Lads, you didn't enter the competition this morning, did you?
Very not.
No, you should have put it in there, you know. Pat hair products, huh? You and me. I'll tell you, yeah. We could do an ad about that, couldn't we? Yeah, very much so. Listen, thanks very much for joining us, gentlemen. We've got Luke Byrne here, Kilbarra Sports Centre Manager. How are you, Luke?
How are you, Damien?
Good, thank you. Pat Scahill. How's it going, Pat?
How are you?
You were into us before, Pat.
I was last year, yeah.
Lovely. And Jim Long. How are you, Jim?
Grand, Damien.
Are you well?
Well, no, yeah.
We're going to be talking about stuff that's happening in January, the Operation Transformation Programme, but you're particularly looking for volunteers. Mm-hmm. We gave a nice bit of mention on this during the summer, I think it was, wasn't it? Jim, you were the biggest loser, as they say. The biggest loser. Yeah. Tell us your own situation. How much did you lose, as they say?
I lost almost 3.5 stone. I was... This time last year, when we started it last year, I was 18 stone 9. And after the 8 weeks, I was down to 15 stone 4.
Wow.
We kept up circuit training. Still, it was on last night. Every Monday night for an hour. And since we finished last March, I've maintained my weight and it's down to going to that. And as I said, I'm still down nearly 3.5 stone. I've went down a bit more and up, but I'm still 15.4 at the minute.
That's excellent.
And way happier for it.
And did you find your eating habits changed?
Yeah, definitely. My portion sizes have gone down, and I'm kind of watching. As I'm buying foods, I tend to pick it up now and see what fat content, what extra sugars,
Yeah.
And I just try eat simple food, but stuff that's not building up. Plenty of veg in the diet.
Do you spend a little bit more time shopping?
I do, yeah, I do. As I just won't go in now and pick up this, that and the other. I look at the ingredients and I look at the sugar and the fat content, obviously.
Because that's very important, because we'll be talking to the lads about that in terms of taking your time and looking what you're buying and having a considered opinion about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And even if I'm in a rush now, like vegetables still only take a couple of minutes. Years ago, I wouldn't have, because I'm not waiting a half an hour for them. Get something out of the freezer.
Yeah.
Whereas now, just they're ready in 15 minutes anyway.
Luke, we're not going to be killjoys here. We want people to celebrate Christmas and have a good time at Christmas.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this is looking for a call out for volunteers for the new year.
Yeah, basically we're just coming online on the airs today just to say to people, like, it's the festive time. There's going to be a lot of people celebrating with families and stuff like that. But like, it's just getting that idea in their head that in January is a new start. It's a new year. We're looking for people to come on for us to do the programme. It's an 8-week programme. Starts the 13th of January. On a Monday evening, we'll be doing a talk on the Monday evening. We'll have a nutritionist in. Pat, my colleague here, will also be going through portion sizes and stuff like that as well. And then we'll be doing a circuit class then the following Monday with a walk on a Wednesday evening as well. So,
and we'll mention about how people can get in touch with you in a minute. Pat, it's something that can work if people buy into it.
Most definitely, as Jim has just said, and I myself lost 25 pounds last year in the same period, and it was more about changing the mindset than it is anything else. Like, we went in there with the option of measuring ourselves on the scales and on our waistline. In actual fact, it was the healthiness, how you felt in the morning when you got up, and that's what the transformation for me was more than anything else. That I, like Jim, will look at the ingredients and things that I'm buying now. I probably don't buy any prep food now. It's all stuff that we have to do ourselves at home.
Because that is a life change. You say, I was just in the doctor's last week and my cholesterol has just hit 6 and I have to look after myself now and I have to change my eating habits. Probably too much fatty cheeses and stuff like that and soft cheeses and whatever. And the doctor said, have a couple of days over Christmas, enjoy yourself, but then get the mindset right and get it into it. We're going to talk in a second about that mindset and how you actually do that, okay? Stay with us. Now, a lot of people still texting in about the boilers. Damien, if I'm not mistaken, that lady's partner has represented Ireland at international level in sport, and that's the thanks he gets. No heating, no shower, and he's training for the Olympics. The council should be ashamed. Jim, you had the problem last year as well, and the simple thing that if boilers are serviced regularly, it can stop a lot of problems.
Yeah, it can indeed, yeah. It can.
What happened to your own situation?
Well, the boiler went down the same as that, and we were waiting. For me, initially, we ended up getting a new boiler, but
if the problem had been sorted
earlier, it would have been a fraction of the cost.
Because somebody else has texted in to say they think that the council let them build up until there's a big group of them, and then they head out there.
That's what I was told last year anyway, that if one problem comes in, they won't send somebody out. They wait till they have about 20 and tender it out at 20.
Tender it out then at 20. And somebody else was on about, Jim Griffin was saying that there 30 houses are going to be dealt with now. Again, we haven't got a response from the council yet. How's the boiler now? It's all right?
Oh, touch wood. Perfect.
You wouldn't want it to go now.
No.
A texter has texted in, Damien, I'd be interested in joining this. I'm 45, I'm 6'1", and I'm 25 stone.
Absolutely, come along to us, the 13th of January. Even if you want to get contact us on our Facebook page, message there. We can fill out an online registration. You can sign up with Eventbrite. The cost is €35 for the 8 weeks, and we're doing a special offer as well. If you complete the 8-week programme with us, we'll give you a year's membership to the gym for €100 as well. And for that price is the cheapest in Waterford for the gyms and stuff like that. So that's something that we're going to be pushing as well.
And the Facebook page is the Kilbarra Sports Centre. That's Cillbara.
BARRA. They can contact us there. So for all their needs for be a personal training, looking to rent a hall, anything like that. So
we mentioned earlier about mindset and about getting into the right mindset, Pat Scahill. What happens when people fall off the wagon and they feel they're falling back into their old habits? What advice would you have?
Well, I suppose it's just reboot, and it's very easy to say that, but during the 8 weeks last year, some of us had a situation where we lost no weight in one of the weeks after a long, hard, and you literally just have to pick yourself up and think to yourself, okay, this can't happen 2 weeks in a row, and it doesn't. And you just start again. The very basics, keep the portion size down. We run the Waterford Operation Transformation in conjunction with the TV programme on the television, and what we do is we use their menus, and they're there for people. They're easy to use, they're easy to cook, they're calculated out with the calories and everything there, and they tell you exactly what size your portions should be. And we just sit down with people and just talk to them and get them to go back and refocus. And
how lovely and how inspiring is it to have people come to you to say that you've changed my life, or you've helped me change my life?
Well, that would be wonderful.
Absolutely.
And the more people that you can do that, you know. And I go back to what you said about changing a mindset, right? You don't see the results of a change of mindset in the space of 8 weeks. In the space of 8 weeks, you should see it over the next 8 months, over the next 8 years. Because if you can change that fundamental part, where your headspace is looking at the ingredients, looking at the things, knowing that if you cook it from fresh at home, you know what's gone into it. If you do that and get into the habit of doing it, it doesn't take as much time as we think it does. And over a period of years, your health was bound to.
Because, Luke, a lot of the pressure that's out there is like processed foods, fast lives, get out there and it's full of salts and salts and sugars and like it's chocolates and Pringles and all sorts of stuff. Like, it's hard.
Absolutely, it's hard. Like, you know, I think Ireland, 60% of the adult population is either overweight or obese. As we were saying about the mindset.
Say that again, 60%.
60%. Like, that is a very worrying stat. And 25% of kids under 16 are in that category as well. So why we're here today is like just to get, as you're saying about that mindset, like this 8 weeks program, we're hoping it's a stepping stone for people just to change their lives, to change the way to eat. And I did Operation Transformation myself last year. I didn't lose as much as the guys did, but like I feel so much healthier now. I went to the doctor, I got my checkup. I'm a lot better healthier wise. Like, it's just thanks to this program. Like, it's just unbelievable change in my life. Like, I went from size 42 pants down to a 38. Now, hopefully by the end of the day, my goal is to get down to a 36. It's not about the weighing scales at the end of the day. It's, as Pat said, it's about lifestyle. Like, you know, your change of mindset, your happiness at the end of the day. That's what we're aiming for people to do. So,
how did it change your mental health, Jim, in terms of making you happier?
Well, I suppose it's always going to make you happy if somebody comes up to you and say you're looking very well. Now, that's not giving me a big head, but I've had one or two people come up and say, well, it's nice to see you. Well, half you anyway, you know. But
and what practical things did you do in terms of cutting down on portion sizes? Like, how many potatoes would you have had on a dinner plate for a normal day?
If I was having a normal Sunday roast, I'd probably 2 years ago or even last year, I'd probably have about 6 or 8 potatoes. Now I'll have 2. And that's it. I'll have a smaller portion of meat and plenty of veg. The veg, never cut back on the veg, because the veg is always helping you, you know. And again, plenty of water, drink plenty of water with it.
What about late at night? Some people get the nibbles.
I still have a biscuit with a cup of coffee in the night time. I just don't have as many. And as I said earlier, we kept up circuit training. It gives me something. I love getting up and going out to circuit train now on a Monday night. And during the week, I'd often get up there and I'd go for a walk, 5k walk or something, you know.
Walking is one of the simplest, easiest and healthiest things to do, isn't it?
And because you're healthier. Now, as I said, I'm down almost 3.5 stone, and it's like now the motivation is there.
Yeah.
I'm going to the gym next Monday night, or I'm going for a walk.
You have to be very conscious of it. It's not a body shaming thing here. It's not a thing that you're shaming anybody because of their weight or size. There's a health aspect to this, a mental and a physical well-being.
Without a doubt.
Different types of diabetes. You've got different health issues there's lots of issues.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, if somebody gave me a 3.5 stone bag to carry around for an hour now, I guarantee I wouldn't carry it around for an hour. Yeah. Whereas I was carrying that around unknowns to myself for so long. So obviously I have to feel healthier because of that.
What about drink? Alcohol has a lot of hidden calories, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Now, I drink as well, don't get me wrong. I probably, because I'm into darts, I probably drink a few extra nights that I shouldn't be doing. But last year, for argument's sake, I would have had a few drinks on more occasions. Now I make it one night a week, and that's it. So a couple of pints one night a week, and I think we all need something to fall back on, you know.
Yeah, no, you have to live as well. It's not a case of being a killjoy and everything like that. Listen, Jim, thanks very much. Anything else to say finally, Pat?
Just on the walking, walking is so easy. It costs nothing to go for a walk, only time, and it's time well spent.
And if you have a dog, bring a bag with you.
Yeah.
Make sure the dog doesn't poo.
Absolutely.
That's another topic.
Just on body shaming, Damien. Like, if we were here to be body shaming, I'm not a small man, even after it last year, but I hope to be a lot smaller at the end of it this year again.
And feel healthier and happier. Luke Byrne, thanks very much for joining us. As you say, Facebook page, Kilbarra Sports Centre, and there's all other places are doing it as well. But this is a very simple, cheap way of doing it as well. As you say, €35.
And the €100 if you complete 8 weeks for a gym membership for the year.
Very good. Pat Scahill, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Damien.
Jim Long, thanks very much for joining us.
Well,
best of luck.
Thanks,
you good at the old darts, yeah?
Well, I'm fairly. I used to be, I'm not as good anymore.
Who's your favourite?
There's too many to mention. I couldn't single one out. There's a lot of the Irish lads on telly all this week, and they're doing very well. They're doing very well.
Hold the seats there, please, gentlemen. Now, thanks everybody for joining us this morning. Thank you, Julie, for producing. Really appreciate all the texts and comments that have come in. We will take some of them tomorrow when we go to Dungarvan. Special mention, anybody's any particular issues to deal with, or a relationship counsellor. We're going to have Bernadette on Thursday for our Christmas special relationship piece. Jeff is up next. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you from Dungarvan tomorrow.